Good morning, Trailblazers. Welcome to another amazing episode of Unpacking Brain Drama. I am Pratiti Pathak here, your guide on this amazing journey of self-discovery, self-empowerment, resilience, intentional living, all the things that make you grow into an amazing human. Last week, I kind of started a brand new series called Goals on Autopilot. It's not new to me. It's a signature program that I created about 5 years ago, and it's been amazing. And this series is really goes on autopilot, and it's mainly around the relationships that are underneath all the things. Our relationship with everything, right? The relationships that are running your life. And I introduced the idea that every area of your life is made up of relationships, not just with other people, but with ourselves, our health, our monies, our time, our emotions, business, success, and ultimately, more importantly, the relationship with ourselves. So today I want to take that conversation one step further, because once you understand that your life is just a collection of relationships, the next question becomes, okay, how do I know which relationship is creating the result that I'm getting? Right? Because I've been teaching on a cognitive behavioral science level where it's your thoughts and feelings and actions that create all your results, which is true. But what is going on underneath all of that is the relationship that you're creating, right? I have these very in-depth conversations within my sessions, though it's just hard to get out all of it in these episodes. So I want to kind of break it down in different ways so that it kind of sinks in different ways, right? Pretty much after years of coaching, I've discovered something that is fascinating, right? People come to me thinking that they have a goal problem, right? There's something that they're wanting to achieve, or somewhere in their life they're feeling stuck and unable to achieve, right? So before, I would always be listening to that, right? The thing that they're trying to start doing or stop doing, the goal, right? Now, after so many years of coaching with clients, I don't hear the goal first anymore. I listen for the relationship underneath it, right? Because every goal is trying to improve a relationship. Let's explore what I mean by this. Imagine someone walks into my office and says, I'd like to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds. Another one says, I want to make another $100,000 this year. Someone else might say, I want a better marriage. I want to stop procrastinating. I want to stop people pleasing. I want to stop drinking. I want to be happier. I want to finally write that book, right? On the surface, all of them sound completely like different goals, right? They're different people, there's different circumstances, different challenges, right? Now, instead of hearing the goal first, instead of hearing the goal first, I listen for the relationship underneath, okay? Because, like I said, every goal is trying to improve a relationship. So let's take a closer look. Someone says, I'd like to lose weight. This is very common. It's one that I've been working on myself, through menopause and perimenopause and postmenopause. I had gained weight. So do they really want to lose the weight? I mean, yes, they do want to lose the weight, but what does that weight represent, right? What is it that they really want? Do they want freedom? Do they want confidence? Do they want more energy? Do they just want to feel more comfortable in their own skin? Or maybe they just want to simply stop hating what they see in the mirror, right? The weight isn't necessarily the problem. It's revealing the relationship underneath. Okay. Now let's say someone says, I want to make more money. Why? What does the money represent? Right? Does it represent security, freedom, freedom of choice, right? Peace. Money isn't necessarily the issue. The relationship with the money is. Okay. And we're going to get deeper into that part of it. Then someone might say to me, I want to start a business. Maybe that's what they really want. Or maybe what they really want is a relationship with courage. Maybe it's a relationship with confidence, the relationship with the possibility, right? Someone who's willing to take the risk, right? Believe in themselves and even fail. Every goal reveals the relationship. Maybe it's a relationship that's asking for healing, right? And this is where I love getting really curious, because curiosity opens the doors that judgment can never do, right? So I'd like to share these 5 questions that have become incredibly powerful, not only in my coaching, but in my own life, as you all know. And if you do not, all of this started with coaching myself, right? All of this started with learning more about me and where things were unraveling for me, where things were very reactive, very automatic for me. So whenever you identify a goal, I want you to ask yourself these 5 questions. Question number 1, what relationship is this goal trying to improve? If the goal is to lose weight, maybe it's the relationship with your body. Maybe it's the relationship with food. Maybe it's the relationship with movement, right? Exercise. Maybe it's the relationship with your own self-worth. Notice how much deeper that is than just simply saying, I need to lose 20 pounds. You want to know why. What is that going to do for you? How will your life change? What will be different? Because if you don't improve the relationship with your body, your image, your food, your alcohol, your movement, that weight's going to come back because you don't identify as the person who's lost the weight because the relationship hasn't improved or healed or something, right? Question number 2. What beliefs have I created about this area? Right? It's one of my main questions in my program. What do I believe about myself in this area? Right? Maybe you're telling yourself, I'm just lazy. I never finish what I start. Maybe you're telling yourself that I'm terrible with money, right? I don't deserve love. I'm just not disciplined, right? Those aren't facts. They're beliefs. And beliefs create what? Patterns. So question number 3, where did these beliefs come from? Did they come from my parents, teachers, culture, my friends, past relationships, a painful experience, right? A future you never let go of, right? A failure. Where did it come from? Because many of the beliefs that we're carrying around today weren't consciously chosen or even consciously created. So many of them were just inherited. Someone passed you a baton and you accepted it, right? You learned it, repeated it, and practiced it until it became what? Automatic, right? That's where the autopilot comes from. It became your rinse and repeat. Question number 4, how have those beliefs become habits, right? Maybe they've become a habit of avoidance, withdrawing, right? Playing small. Maybe the habits become people pleasing. Maybe the habits become emotional eating. Maybe the habit has become overspending, perfectionism, procrastination. They kind of go together, right? Remember, patterns are simply practiced behavior, right? We rinse, we repeat. We rinse, we repeat. Say that 5 times. And practiced behavior eventually becomes our autopilot. Okay. So now here comes my absolute favorite question, the one that kind of changes everything, and you may not get it right away. Question number 5. If I loved this area instead what would I do differently? Now think about that for a moment. Not how do I lose weight? Instead, if I genuinely loved my body, how would I feed it differently? How would I move it? How would I speak to it? Right? How would I be loving on it if I actually loved my body? Right? Because if you're having an unhealthy relationship, it's not loving it, right? It's not loving it, right? Not how do I make more money? Instead, if I respected money, how would I earn it? How would I spend it? How would I save it, invest it? Right? The other question is not like just if I respected money, but if I thought I was worthy of having it, right? So there's lots of different avenues to dive into. This is why sometimes it isn't very easy to work on these things alone, which is why I even have a business, right? Because sometimes you need somebody like me to help ask those questions that you may not know how to ask yourself, and then be able to shine the flashlight inside your brain and see what's going on in there. Because I want you to not say, how do I stop procrastinating? But instead, if I truly believed in myself, what action would I take today? Right? Do you see how these different questions feel? You know, those questions feel very different. One comes from fixing, the other comes from building a healthier relationship. And healthier relationships create healthier results. When we don't have good relationships, we have lots of conflict with other people, right? Or things that other people do really bother us and we keep it to ourselves. But if we had a healthier relationship with the situation, we'd be able to build healthier boundaries around it. And that would create healthier results. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. I'd like to give you this simple exercise this week. I call it the relationship audit, right? Take out a journal. If you don't like the word journal, take out a notebook, draw 10 lines and write these areas down. Okay. These are the 10 areas that I focus on with all of my clients and with myself: physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, intimate relationships, parenting or mentoring relationships, right? Family relationships, which is everybody else, social relationships, right? Your relationships with your community, your causes, things that you care about, your business, and your finances, right? Your financial health. Now, I don't want you to rate the results, okay? I want you to rate your relationship. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how healthy is your relationship with each area? And I don't mean how successful you are, not how much money you make, because you may think, I make tons of money. I have a great relationship with money. I want you to really examine that, right? Not what the scale says when you go to weigh yourself. Okay, how healthy is the relationship with it, right? How healthy is the relationship itself? Okay, because once you identify the relationship, you can begin to create the pattern. You can begin to start changing the pattern and create one that you want, right? Once you change the pattern, the result begins to change, right? And there's an analogy I absolutely love using. Okay, I'm in an old farmhouse and I have lots of beautiful gardens and flowers. I'm not the one that is good at taking care of those, but imagine this. Okay, imagine you have a beautiful flowering plant sitting in your kitchen, and one day you notice, or sitting in your garden, and one day you notice that the leaves are starting to turn brown. Okay, the flowers are dying. it's a potted plant. Okay. It's not just flowers sitting in a vase. Okay. Most people would focus on the leaves. They might trim them. Maybe they would polish them, give it more water. That's what chasing a goal looks like. Okay. That's what goal chasing looks like. We're trying to make the outside look better. Okay. Instead of seeing what's going on internally. Okay. But a gardener doesn't start with the leaves, right? A gardener asks this question: what's happening at the roots? Okay. The roots are the relationship. The leaves are simply the results. Healthy roots, healthy plant, healthy relationships, healthy results. So I'd like to leave you with this one question this week. Instead of asking yourself, like, what's my next goal or what is the goal? I want you to try asking yourself, what relationship is this goal inviting me to improve? Okay. That single question has the power to change so much, sometimes everything, right? Because once you improve the relationship, the pattern shifts, the thoughts shift, the feelings shift, the actions begin to shift, and eventually the results begin to shift. So, my amazing trailblazers, this is exactly what I've been teaching inside of my How to Put Your Goals on Autopilot program for years. It is the book that I'm working on this year because I want you all to have access to so much detail and like step by step, so you can even do things on your own. We're not just simply chasing goals in our lives, right? We're transforming the relationships that create them, right? The relationship with yourself. Everything in the world out there, we have a relationship with: food, alcohol, drugs, intimacy. We have a relationship with nature. We have a relationship with our style, our hair, our clothing, right? We have a relationship with money. We have a relationship with our ability to achieve anything, right? It all comes down to our relationship with ourself in that area. So once you change the relationship with yourself in that area, you will change the patterns. You will create things that you design on purpose, and you start creating the person that automatically achieves these goals and creates them without having to do anything different, because you've created a different autopilot for yourself. So when you change the pattern, you change the result. And when you change enough results, you will change your life. One intentional choice at a time. I love it. Okay, so thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share with someone who might be chasing goals, but may need to start looking a little bit deeper into their relationship around that goal. I'd love to hear from you. What relationships are you going to begin improving this week? And until next time, remember one thing: lead your life by design, not by default. Keep growing through what you go through, and I will see you next week.